Do you ever look at me and go, God, he's so pretty, he looks like me?
No.
What do you say then?
Like gremlin.
I look like a gremlin. All right, thank you. Yes, but you'll probably have to speak up to because the camera won't because
Alex is a gremlin.
Got anything else you want to say? Oh, nice. You're great to make content with.
Alex is a gremlin.
The last 48 hours with this whole ImAllexx situation has been extremely interesting to watch. I thought I was only going to make one video, but yesterday as I was going to bed and I see that a new Google document pops up and it says my experience with ImAllexx. We're going to be taking a look at it. We're going to get into the Google document, don't get me wrong, but I want to address who this is just so you guys know a bit more context. Someone left a comment responding to her saying, didn't the two of you collaborate on accusing Slasso? These tweets are from the Slasso situation. This YouTuber says, y'all think Slasso is going to come back? And she responded with, innocent people don't stay quiet for this long. So you know who this Google document is coming from. Just something to keep in mind when reading this document. And this tweet says, notice how she completely leaves out her involvement in the Slasso false allegations, even though she was one of the many large content creators to bandwagon against him. She never took accountability or apologized for helping spread false allegations. And then they show these tweets from her. In regards to the Slasso situation, Michael's still guilty for what he did in the past. Okay, what? See, this is what makes your Google document seem not that legit, and it does hurt your credibility a bit, quite a lot actually. But with that said, now we can get into the Google document. Though we never confirmed it to the public because I personally like keeping my relationships private, I dated Alex from June 2017 till March 2018. It was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in, and I was lucky to get out when I did. When we were dating, though he was from England and I lived in America, we were pretty much never apart for longer than a week. We stayed in Europe for a couple of months, then went to America for 6 months. He couldn't stay 6 months straight due to visa implications, so he stayed 3 months, flew back to England for a few days, then came back to America for another 3 months. After this 6 months was over and he couldn't come to America again for a while due to the visa, we spent some time away from each other, and during that time, with help from my friends, I came to the realization that I was in the worst and most toxic relationship I had ever been in, and I had to get out. I was fortunately to get out when I did, but reading all the new information that's come out, he's clearly gotten worse. During the relationship, he made me feel insane, like I wasn't myself anymore. It felt like he never listened to me. I always felt belittled and inferior. Whenever we would record videos together, he would constantly talk over me and never let me have my moment. Now, of course, everyone knows this, but I'll say it again. These are just allegations for now. In this document, she does link a video that we're gonna watch, obviously. Most of the time, when I had problems, he would always somehow made it about himself or talked about his own issues. He would get stressed over his YouTube channel constantly and complain about uploading, as if it was the hardest job on the planet and no one had it harder than him. His classic line was, and I quote, I can't catch a fucking break. And this is when it gets a bit crazy, and when you compare it to the first Google document that came out a few days ago, and you combine it with this, they complement each other quite well. I don't know, like, it sucks that her credibility is so shitty. You know, take this with a grain of salt. That's not to discredit any victim, but knowing her shady past, I think we gotta treat this very carefully. It doesn't have as much concrete proof or weight to it as the first one with Alice. And once again, for the people in the back, this is not to discredit her or her feelings. I'm just saying, if we ever had a disagreement, he would always sometimes allude to the possibility of of ending himself over minor conflicts as a threat. Alex is a 25-year-old man, and in 2017, 2018, he was like 18, 19 years old. He was like, oh my god, if you don't give me my chocolate milk, I'm going to kill myself in Minecraft. I don't know what it is about him, but I always just could tell. I have a talent for that kind of stuff. It was nearly impossible to give him any kind of criticism because it was like adding to the pile of minor issues that he had already blown far out of proportion in his head. And then she brings up the Slasso situation. She says, for example, the Slasso situation, thought it was never said in the original statements by Shay. He somehow came to the conclusion that it was the R word, and everyone else got the blame for saying his words. Somehow this situation went from being guilty of being a bad boyfriend to all of a sudden he's a, you know, rapist. This was the final nail in the coffin, and I cut all contact with him after that. Like, because Lazo was taking his time, you were like, innocent people normally don't stay quiet for this long. Yeah, I don't know about this one, Chief. Now, before we continue, I do want to mention that someone that Alex seemed like they were extremely close to, that is two people actually, ImAllexx, which already responded. We took a look at it on my last video. And now Will and Nee, someone who collabed with ImAllexx and Alex all the fucking time. As a ImAllexx watcher back in the day, when ImAllexx would have Will and Nee, I was like, it's funny. And when they would have all three of them, or it would just be like Will and Nee, Alex, ImAllexx, Alex, I would just shut that shit off. All of these allegations could be false, and Alex could have the greatest comeback of 2025, it still doesn't take away from the fact that he's a weirdo and he's always put out mid content, and the only reason why he got as big as he did is because everyone carried him. You got Willany, you got ImAllexx shouting you out, having you on their videos 24/7. Of course you were gonna get subscribers. If he never got help from them, I don't think he would have cracked 20 subscribers. I'm gonna keep it real here. But Willany said, firstly, I really hope Alice is doing well and commend her massively for having the courage to get that out there. As Mia mentioned, Mia is Willany's girlfriend, wife, if I'm not mistaken. She also responded, and we're gonna take a look at that right now. As Mia mentioned, there were rumors of his behavior earlier this year. Myself and few others haven't been in contact with him since, or been his friends for even longer. The stuff that Alice published was far worse than anything I've heard being discussed. You know what? I don't feel bad for Alex at all. This is literally the same thing these people were doing to Slasso a few years ago. If this fucks his career up, I don't care. This guy has been a snake for so long, and so many content creators have talked about him, exposing him, and people would always defend him and call anyone that ever criticized Alex a hater, someone who's jealous, they're salty, all of this. I do think everyone knew Alex was horrible, but he was always well protected by the community. This has been building up for years, and it's 1000% deserved. I don't feel any sympathy for him. I don't feel bad for him. I don't care what he's going through right now. I don't care if he's sad or ripping his hair out. And this is what Mia had to say. People that knew Alex, people that worked with Alex, this is something I have been aware of since May of last year, and it's something that, in my opinion, is well known throughout the industry. I can't speak for people that aren't in their group or who I don't see regularly, but the openness at which this was discussed amongst people last year, I genuinely find it hard to believe that creators close to Alex had no idea this was going on. Whenever I think of ImAllexx collabing with anyone, I think of ImAllexx. I'm kind of curious, this has been known for, let's say, a year. When was the last time ImAllexx worked with ImAllexx? It was like 2 months ago. To give credit where credit is due, ImAllexx has distanced himself from ImAllexx. He put that story, we talked about it here. I genuinely find it hard to believe that creators close to Alex had no idea what was going on. Once again, that's not to attack ImAllexx. I don't have a problem with him. When I found out Alex and I were signed to the same talent agency, I immediately made them aware of the accusations and put pressure on them to drop him, which they did. This was June 2023. From the documents in the drive, it looks like things escalated even further from what I was aware of. Emotional abuse, threats of violence, use of racial slurs. So it feels like that whole community is officially done with Alex, and I do think even if he responds and it's a good one, it's gonna be hard to come back from this. It feels like every day there's something new regarding him. People that know Alex personally talking about him. Brother is getting absolutely cooked out here. Going back to the Google document, during our relationship, I bought him and I matching Alex and any bracelet for Valentine's Day because I was like, oh, neat, a company with both our names. You can see him pressing the heart on the bracelet to his lips in his I'm Back to Nothing video, which has now been taken down.
And I've been complaining so consistently. I think the worst part is that about 2 months ago, I for the first time in a year, I felt like I was truly happy. And that I had it all working out, and that I had it all sorted. And then I come back here, and within the first week, everything has just been... It's like a train just running through me.
Okay, I can't be the only one who can't stand to hear him talk. Painful to listen to this guy talk. I don't know how anyone could ever date him. I've heard him talk maybe for a total amount of time of like 30 minutes in my entire life, but it makes me wish I could go dead. I'd rather hear the sound of forks scratching against a piece of metal for 5 hours straight than to ever listen to ImAllexx talk again. So here we have the bracelet, and here's the one that she alleges she gave him. This video was released as a response to me breaking up with him. He uploaded this video after I stopped talking to him as a way to try to guilt trip me into replying to him. He did it to me what he's done in his relationship with Alex, where he will fly off the handle and get mad, then act all apologetic and sad trying to get me to feel sorry for him. Lastly, the only time he ever laid a finger on me was when he grabbed me as I was trying to run away from conflict. We were trying to record a YouTube video together, and he was getting frustrated at having to restart and recording multiple times. He started shouting and beating his fist on the table, even going as far as to break his microphone. If this is real, he sounds extremely unhinged. It's not too far off from what Alice said in her original document, and with all the proof she had, it's not really that far-fetched. You know what I mean? Like, imagine thinking you're going to record a fun, silly video with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and this guy's so fucking upset, he punches his desk, allegedly, and is breaking his microphone. Like, this guy has some serious fucking mental issues that he needs to take care of. This is not normal, okay? This is not how people behave. This is not how YouTubers act. And don't get me wrong, I get being stressed about, you know, YouTube and wanting to get a good video and, you know, perfection and all of that. I completely understand that. But there's no reason to act like this. I was scared, so I got up to leave the room, which is when he grabbed my arm to physically stop me. I remember saying, and I quote, "You grabbed my arm," end quote, several times in shock, as if to say, who the fuck would ever grab someone like that? It saddens me that it's all come this far. Once again, my only issue with her statement, the fact that she was, you know, one of the main people, one of the bigger people at the time, leading the charge for this lasso cancellation. As someone who was a big content creator and kind of knew him, not giving him the benefit of the doubt, just blindly believing people and what was being said at that time. Like, I get it if you were a YouTuber at the time and you didn't know it, because you don't know the guy personally, right? But people that were around him, and if you went through that, I truly am sorry. No one deserves to go through that. But it's kind of hard to trust a person with this reputation. In my opinion, just take this with a grain of salt for now. I'm sure Alex is working on a response right now. Even though I have my personal reasons for not liking Alex, I do think he's a slimy piece of shit. I do think he's a fucking snake. But despite all of that, I think he should be given the opportunity to respond, and let's see how it goes from here. Something that's always confused me about this whole situation, Alex Lasso, and all of that crazy stuff that went down. Why would you not reach out to your friend? I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. Like, if there's allegations against a YouTuber that I'm friends with, right? Let's just name drop someone randomly, a Cheeto, right? There's crazy allegations that he beat up a grandma and pissed on her and took a shit on her and kicked her 25 times. And there's like 10 Google documents on him. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to call him before I publicly do anything else. And I think that's the right thing to do, right? If we're friends, you reach out to the individual, to the content creator, and you're like, yo, are these real? What is going on? I wouldn't just be like, okay, let's just drop him and let's all collectively go and attack him, guys. Because what if it's fake? And what if it's just someone that happens to look like him? You know what I mean? So it blows my mind that Slasso's friends never reached out to him first before going public and dropping him. And Alex 1000% deserves whatever the fuck he's getting now. So with that said, what do you guys think of the situation? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time, alright? Peace out.